From the most dangerous T-bones to catastrophic crashes, here we have the most shocking car crashes caught on a dash cam. In Texas, a guy recorded a crash that ended in a catastrophe. This guy was driving when he witnessed a crash that ended up horribly.
Oh God! Oh fuck!
Looks bad, but not as bad as this crash in Canada. Look at this car. He was driving when suddenly this happened. But that's not as crazy as this car losing control. Imagine driving as always when this happens to you. In South Carolina, a driver caught a crash that shattered everything in its path. During a high-speed chase, this fleeing car crashed in the worst way possible. In Arizona, Dashcam caught an accident that ended in a tragic way. Speaking of tragic ends, in Russia, a driver caught a crash that ended in the worst way possible. In California, a driver was on the highway when suddenly lost control and everything went wrong. If you want to have more luck than this one, make sure to subscribe to this channel. This guy lost control too, and everything spiraled out of control. On a Polish highway, this happened. But that's not the only crash that happened in Poland. A parked car caught a wild head-on collision. Speaking of head-on collisions, look at this one in Russia. In South Korea, a driver was on a highway when everything ended in a disaster. But there was another big accident in South Korea. In Russia, a driver caught a wreck with a devastating outcome. This truck driver is crazy. In Germany, an Audi lost control and everything turned fatal.
Kilometer 66, Unfall.
This crash looks as bad as this one. This guy was probably staring at the beautiful Utah views, but this occurred.
You know when it's the work on me, and it was so loud.
In Arizona, a driver captured the exact moment when everything went wrong. New fear unlocked. This video. In Russia, a dashcam caught a crash with horrific consequences. In Japan, a dashcam captured a crash that left nothing but ruins. This crash nobody saw coming. In Wales, this crash ended in total chaos.
So I don't actually understand what point you're trying to make, Carl. Just because the fact that your mate's in charge.
But that's nothing compared to this German crash. this crash was crazy. In Brazil, a surveillance camera captured a crash that ended in a fatal way. But that's nothing compared to this crash in India. In the Czech Republic, a driver captured a crash that created chaos that couldn't be missed. This is one of the shockiest moments I've ever seen. At an intersection, a Canadian driver captured this. Pay attention to the roads. This guy captured a wild crash. Looks as bad as this footage from this trucker. In North Carolina, a driver caught a crash that left a mess no one could ignore.
My problem, the major problem I have with you is that you don't follow through. So
North Carolina saw more than just this one crash. This car got jump scared by another one. This driver captured an unexpected head-on collision. Imagine waiting at an intersection and this happens to you.
Now 15-year mission to take down the crime ring run by his ex-wife that he thinks that may or may not, exist. Yeah, so it's
In Australia, a driver caught a crash that turned into a nightmare. But that's not as crazy as this crash in Texas. At an intersection in Florida, a driver caught this. If you think that was bad, check out what else happened in Florida.
Oh!
Texas, a guy was trying to change roads when this occurred. At an intersection in California, a dash cam captured a rollover with horrific consequences. In Pennsylvania, this car attempted to make a turn, but then this happened. This driver caught a train crash that ended in the worst possible way.
Junge, jetzt kracht's doch gleich. Hier, jetzt kracht's, jetzt kracht's!
In Brazil, a surveillance camera caught a crash so violent it was hard to believe. This truck lost control and everything turned into a nightmare. In Illinois, this guy tried to overtake, but this took everyone by surprise. Speaking of overtakes, in Russia this happened. This is the most stupid crash I've ever seen. On a highway in Japan, a crash that was unexpected happened. I feel bad for this white car. The face of the co-pilot says everything. In Portugal, this guy was driving in the calmest way when this happened. This is why you should always check your back. This guy was driving when suddenly this occurred. white car was overspeeding and everything turned into a disaster. In Australia, an impatient driver tried to overtake. But that's not the only crash that took place in Australia. This black car suddenly brake checked and the rear end was inevitable. In Thailand, a security camera captured a crash so violent it was hard to believe. This crash in Texas took the driver by surprise. This guy was driving when suddenly this happened. This crash could have ended worse.
Retard!
Getting rear-ended looks bad, as you can see in this video.
Oh my God.
Or in this one too. This crash could have ended in a movie-like pit maneuver. In Maryland, a driver caught a crash that left nothing but ruins. This guy looks really mad. To be honest, this T-bone is funny. This trucker is crazy and shouldn't have a driving license. In Georgia, a deputy observed a suspicious vehicle and the chase was inevitable. In Ohio, a police officer was driving and violently crashed.
Found that he violated policy, he will be held accountable. Everyone involved in this wreck survived.
During a chase in Pennsylvania, a car crashed in a violent way that even the dash cam stopped working. Speaking of violent crashes, in Ohio, a deputy started chasing a suspect and everything spiraled out of control.
Send the squad, he's overturned.
But that's not as crazy as this chase with multiple crashes and multiple cameras.
Another collision with PD at 45 at Roosevelt. Suspect still going northbound.
In Florida, an officer tried to stop a driver because of a suspended driving license, but he made the worst decision possible.
North on 16th there.
The chase reached high speeds that you won't believe. This police officer traffic stopped a guy, but he decided to flee, and everything led to a serious situation.
Open the door from the outside. From the outside. Turn the car off. Almost lost it in Lafayette. We're going southbound to the stop sign, Lafayette Hill. We're going to be approaching Prospect in a second.
The chase led to different locations, even the calmest ones.
Speed's 26. Eastbound Webster. Northbound Bartlett. I'm right on her. We're going about 25 miles an hour. No traffic, no pedestrians, roads are dry.
But not only in the USA, you can find wild chases. In the Czech Republic, there are good ones too.